Hello everybody, Fantasticairy here with another video this week. In this week's video, I decided I wanted to paint a mushroom. Something simple as I've been very busy working 2 jobs, and of course I love painting mushrooms, so I thought I'd share that process with you. Found this cute orange-capped mushroom that I wanted to paint from reference, and then of course deviating from that reference and kind of adding my own little touch to it. When I shape out my mushrooms, I always start with either the cap of the mushroom or the stem. There's only 2 main parts really, but it helps me shape in that silhouette. Mushrooms are a lot of fun to add in little details afterwards, and I find the details is really where the painting stands out afterwards. And of course, adding in some ground because it's not a floating mushroom, it's a mushroom growing from whatever it is that it is decomposing. If you really look closely at a mushroom, it has a lot of really cool textures. Sometimes maybe it's already been eaten by slugs, has little bites out of it. This one in particular is a healthy mushroom. It must have just popped out of the ground. And some mushrooms have tiny little sporous texture on their either the stem or usually underneath the crown. And here I am adding in some little dots for texture at the bottom. The detailing part is definitely my favorite part of painting anything that I'm painting. I was also using my round number 1 brush for this entire painting, and this painting is only the size of the tip of my thumb. It's a very tiny painting. Then just carefully adding in these lines that go up into the crown from the stem. I feel like they're a very important feature of a mushroom. It really adds that contrast to underneath, giving it a little of a cheated shadow. This mushroom also had a little bit of a skirt. I'm going to call it a skirt because I'm not sure what it's called, but it had a little bit of a skirt, so it almost like it had a little dress on. It was really cute. I didn't want to over detail the skirt too much because I didn't want the eye to focus on that part of the mushroom. I think the cap is where the eye tends to go and then flows through. Of course, it's a very tiny painting, so there's not much to look at, but still, I had to keep in mind my composition and where I wanted the eye to go. So hopefully I accomplished that. And then after I have my main shape painted in, I start to go in with some more contrast and also some more saturated tones. The cap of this mushroom was a more golden, yellow-brown-ish color. Mixing the colors together was a lot of fun. At first it was a little tricky, but then I used a brown sienna mixed with a yellow, and it really seemed to help bring that pop of color in. Adding more contrast in areas where there should be shadow, but not overdoing it because, of course, I don't want to distract the eye too much. And still keeping that kind of textured, conceptual, stylized painting look. All these different like dotted strokes, wet on wet technique, and how the colors flow and blend together. And now I'm adding some more texture to the top of the crown. I did notice this mushroom had little tiny dots at the top, probably little tiny holes or spores. I guess I could have gone in with my 0.5 round tip brush, but I was content on just using the 1 brush this time. Sometimes that allows you to think a little bit more on how you're applying your strokes and being a little bit more careful and thoughtful when you're painting. It's a good practice to just try to use 1 brush for 1 painting. You have to get creative with different things or how to create certain shapes and whatnot. And now I'm adding in some little kind of pokey things in the ground. It could be like pine needles or decaying organic material, and then adding in some green to just help that color pop. I'm really happy with my decision to add in the green. It's like it's from a pine tree forest. And then continuing the shapes of these little lines poking out of the ground. It could be pine needles again, or maybe just something else. I just thought it was a very fun feature. And then I'm going to add a little bit of brown, kind of that brown sienna mixed with some yellow, just to bring the whole composition together. Staying focused on the color palette that I'm making up in my head as I go from the reference. And here's the end result. I had a lot of fun painting this little mushroom and excited to fill the whole page with more mushrooms. I'm happy how the colors turned out and the composition. I think I could have defined a little bit of the darker areas, a little bit more if I'm being super picky, but overall I'm pretty satisfied with the result. Thank you for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I may put this up on my imprint shop once I have this page filled with more mushrooms. You can check that out, link in the description below, as well as all my social media, links in the description below. And like and subscribe if you enjoyed and want to see more, and thank you for sticking around if you've made it to the end. I really appreciate it. I'll be excited for the spring and summer because I will be 1 job less working, if that makes sense, so I'll have more time to paint. I really would like to fill the sketchbook because I also have another one I'm excited to start, and also want to practice with more gouache. But anyway, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.